Hi everybody, welcome back to the Country Clucker. My name is Noelle. I'm a backyard chicken keeper, writer, blogger, published author, and I have been doing this for 12 years. Typically, I'm in the backyard with the girls, but we have had a couple hiccups here lately. We've had a fence project that we've had to catch up on, and so our backyard is, needless to say, trashed. And secondly, our mower broke, so now we have a trash backyard with grass up to our knees. So anyway, not exactly the conditions I would like to put on a video showing the ins and outs of keeping chickens if our backyard is kind of a bit of a disarray right now, but we're getting it finished up, and hopefully we'll be getting our mower fixed and the fencing crew coming and taking care of this wood that we've got, hanging around. That's, not great. So the chickens are enjoying it. They figure more grass, more bugs. So they're out just loving everything and eating all the bugs and enjoying the weeds. So I guess there's some good to come of not mowing your backyard. So anyway, I was absent. I didn't do any videos in October, mainly because I just need to take, I'm sorry, this is October, September. I didn't do any videos in September, mainly because we were really busy in September. We had some trips in September, and our family was just going, a million directions, all at the same time. So there was just no cohesiveness to be able to take the time to do a video that would be, quality and informational for you all. So I do apologize for my absence, but that's the reason. And I was hoping to do a video today in the backyard, but we're gonna have to do it inside. So this is my home office. So welcome to the behind the scenes, if you will, of the Country Clucker. Like I stated, I work from home. I'm a writer. I write for many different periodicals, magazines, a professional writer. So this is my madness. So welcome to the, whatever this is. So anyway, what we're gonna do today is I have had some questions by email and also in the comments of people who are looking for a little bit of guidance, especially your newer chicken keepers, which is, what I'm here for, is to help you guys. So since I really can't get to the backyard and do a video right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to address these questions here and talk to you about those issues and, what they are and how to, I don't want to say help your flock, but how to relate to your flock during these times. Okay, so I have several. I have several on roosters, and I have one on molting. And I think I'm going to start with the molting one first, because everybody who is new to chicken keeping, they've had their chickens for about a year. If they got them last year, so their first molt would be this fall. And they have noticed that everybody has had a group sneeze. So basically they sneezed, what it looks like, and then feathers are everywhere. Their chickens are losing feathers, they're looking kind of shabby, they're looking kind of awful, they don't look real well. Yes, your chickens are fine. Your chickens are not sick, and I guarantee they're not dying. So what they are experiencing is molt. Now, a lot of times we equate molting with like reptiles. So like snakes, lizards, where, they shed their skin, and that's how they, propagate their skin and how they grow into basically their next stage of growth with new skin. Well, chickens are the same way, but instead of shedding their skin, they shed their feathers. So yes, your hens that look like they have been through a tumble dryer and their feathers are gone, they've got bald spots, they look really shabby. You go to your pen, and instead of seeing your pen floor, you see a layer of feathers as if there was a group sneeze or they had some kind of wrestling match the night before. Yes, this is all completely normal. Your chickens are fine. They are molting. Now, molting will take, some breeds are different than others. I'm going to say about 3 months. So some breeds will sail through molting, and they'll be pretty quick at it. And then other breeds, it seems to drag on for literally ever. So yeah, so about 3 months for your chickens to lose their feathers. Now, they're not going to lose them all at the same time and look like a chicken you would find at the store that you put in your oven. They're not going to be like completely skinned. But there are a few breeds, the naked necks, and there's another breed that actually does that, and they will literally look like a chicken that has been plucked. But for your general run-of-the-mill backyard chickens, takes about 3 months. They generally molt in succession, so they'll generally start at their head, and then they'll kind of, their body will kind of bit by bit, you know, go down to their tail. It's not uncommon for your roosters to lose their tail feathers. So I have a couple comments on there like, oh my gosh, my rooster has lost his tail, you know, what do I do? I says, no, it's okay, it's okay, it's just molting. So yes, this is a normal biological process in the life of a chicken. Now, in addition to molting, you're going to notice something else occur. Egg laying is going to diminish. So when they're molting, they're putting all of their energy to feather regrowth. So what they're doing is all of the energy that they would have used to lay eggs and make eggshells and stuff, their body is diverging to feather growth. So yes, you are going to have an egg reduction, and it will carry through depending on the breed, your Orpingtons and your Australorps, your Americanas, Wyandottes. Those are several of the breeds that will lay during the winter after molt. Now, it will be reduced, so you're not going to have the, you know, the bounty that you would normally have in the spring and the summer. But it will be a reduced amount of eggs, but they will still lay eggs during the winter. Some of your other breeds, like your Polishes, Silkies, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that are common. It is not uncommon for them to completely cease laying completely during the winter, especially starting at molt, and then they will start back in usually about spring. So that's not uncommon. So if I have got a lot of, you know, comments about, you know, suddenly the chickens are stopped laying, are they sick? No. They're molting, and their body is biologically hardwired during molt to diverge that energy that they would have used for laying eggs to molt. So now, on the other side of molt, so in about 3 months, so you're looking at midwinter, I know it doesn't make sense, they will look beautiful. Their feathers will be very plushy. They will grow in their down, so like the chickens, you know, the same coats that we would put on when we go outside when it's cold outside, the down coats or whatever. During molt, they're also going to grow in that down. That is going to keep them warm during the winter. So about midwinter, they're going to look really fluffy, really big. They're going to have their down feathers in, and they're going to be beautiful girls, and then they will no longer look like something that has been through the plucker. So yes, this is molt. It is normal. Do not worry about it. Your eggs will decrease. That is also normal. So for those of you that are freaking out about your chickens looking a little bit terrible, they're fine. So, second one I have here is rooster dominance. Okay, so I have several readers who have multiple roosters, or they're attempting to keep multiple roosters, and of course this is my wheelhouse. So, yes, you can have multiple roosters, and you can keep multiple roosters in your flock, but several things have to be met. One, you need to have enough space. So, roosters, they are going to vie for a position in the flock hierarchy. There will be an alpha rooster, and all the other subjugated roosters will then be below him. And every once in a while, you're going to have a beta rooster or a subjugated rooster that will then try to challenge the alpha rooster for his spot. And usually 2 things will happen of this. One, the subjugated rooster will be reminded of his place in the hierarchy, or 2, the beta rooster will win. So what you have here is rooster dominance. So this is why you need space. So when the roosters are vying for this position, or if they're getting a little too close to each other, they can separate from each other. Because if you have roosters that are in a small space and they can't get away from each other, this is when injuries are going to happen, because the roosters don't really want to get hurt. They don't really want to cause injury. They want to get away from any kind of situation that would cause an injury. But if there's not enough space for them to actually leave a confrontation or an altercation, this is when injuries can happen. So the first thing you need to have is enough space within the coop, within the pen, and then if you free range outside, that as well. The second thing that you're going to need if you're going to have multiple roosters is multiple feeders and waterers. Because what you're trying to achieve with having multiple roosters is to give the roosters as little as possible to fight over. So if you have multiple feeders and waterers, you're not going to have one rooster proclaiming himself as king of the feeder and waterer, if you know, because that will happen if you have just one feeder and waterer and you've got a rooster that is, you know, the alpha rooster. It is not uncommon for him to chase the beta rooster or all the subjugated roosters away from the resources. So if you have multiple resources, that is also going to be something that your roosters will not fight over, because there's no point, because there's multiple resources. So plenty of feeders and waterers. The third thing you're going to need is ample hens. So if you're going to have multiple roosters, you want to think of about each rooster having 8 to 10 hens. So I have 13 roosters. 4 of my guys are in a bachelor pen because they're my breeding boys and they kind of bunk together. And I have about 40, 50 some hens. I actually stopped counting a long time ago. And so what you need is you're going to want to have about 8 to 10 hens or 7 to 9 hens, somewhere in there, but at least more than 6 hens, like the minimum 6 hens per rooster. So that way there's enough hens to go around. Now this isn't so much for the roosters, but it's actually for your hens. So if you have a lot of roosters and not enough hens to bear the weight of his activities, they are going to find that you're going to find that they can become injured, they can become overmated, they'll stop laying, they'll be very stressed. They're more susceptible to diseases because they're stressed, and their immune system is compromised because they're stressed. So what you need to do is you need to have enough hens for the amount of roosters that you want to keep. So yes, multiple roosters are possible, but there are some stipulations that need to be met in order for this to be successful. Now, I had another reader who was observing a very unusual behavior among their roosters. There is a rooster, so she has a pen, and there's multiple roosters in there, multiple hens, I think, if I'm remembering this right. And she had noticed one of the roosters mounting another rooster, and she was very confused at this behavior. Well, there's 2 possibilities for this behavior. One, oh no, this is a bachelor pen. That's right. She had a bachelor pen. That's right. Okay. Yeah, so she's got a bachelor pen of like 3 or 4 roosters that she wants to keep. And so she's got them in there by themselves. And they've been getting along just fine. And then one morning she went out there and she saw one of the roosters mounting the other rooster. Okay, yeah, that's right. And so she was very confused by this display of behavior, because she was like, what is this? Do roosters mount each other? The long and short of that is, yeah, that can happen. Although they're not trying to procreate the flock with this behavior. What's happening is this is a display of dominance. So you're going to have an alpha rooster, and you're going to have the subjugated roosters that are underneath the alpha rooster. Even in the bachelor pen, there is going to be a pecking order. So the roosters will know basically where they are in line. And if there's a subjugated rooster that is challenging the alpha rooster, he's going to assert his dominance. And when a rooster mounts a hen, that is also a display of dominance. So if you have a rooster that's mounting on another rooster, this is a display of dominance. So what you need to do is you just need to watch this behavior, because you know, it could be that the alpha rooster is just trying to show the beta rooster that, hey, he's alpha, you're beta, get on your side of the pen. Or if this becomes a behavior that becomes harmful, or it starts to become worse. I'm trying to think of the right escalate. There you go, escalate. So if this behavior escalates to where you're noticing that there's injuries that this rooster is starting to sustain, you're going to need to make a decision about what's going on. So either remove your alpha rooster, or maybe remove your beta roosters that's causing the issue. It could be they just need more space. A bachelor pen, roosters can live in a bachelor pen very, very well, but they have to have enough space. And the other thing that could be causing this is you might have a hen in the mix. So typically, the behavior of a rooster mounting another chicken is generally in the case of a hen during mating. It can happen as a display of dominance within a bachelor pen, or even within a flock that has multiple roosters, because the alpha rooster is trying to get it through the beta rooster's, bird brain that he's alpha. Or what you may want to do is you may want to count your hens again and just make sure that there's not a hen in there, because if there is a hen in there, she's going to get torn to pieces. So you need to make sure that you get her out, and you really can't rely on egg laying to know that if it's a hen or not, because if she's in a bachelor pen with a bunch of roosters, she's going to be stressed. And when hens are stressed, they will stop laying eggs. So you just kind of need to watch her behavior, observe the pen, and you can also just remove the member that is being mounted by the alpha rooster, and just observe her behavior independent of that environment, and hopefully you should be able to discern if this is a hen or not. Some hens can be large, that they would look like roosters. They can have large combs, they can be large bodied. It all depends on their genetics. I mean, I've had a couple of hens that when, I was raising chickens, I thought for sure they were a rooster, and it turned out that they were a hen. They were just, a bit of a full-figured hen. So not all hens are going to be smaller than the roosters, even within specific breeds where sexual dimorphism is very much prevalent. So just take this member out, observe their behavior. If you determine that it is a hen, well, you need to make sure she's not in the bachelor pen, because then your bachelor pen is going to just become a mess. So that is my take, and I hope I've answered your question correctly. If I haven't, Amber, just email me back, or catch me in the comments. I mean, you know where to get me, and just kind of let me know if you need more assistance on that. Okay, another thing I was going to talk about. Okay, yes, a lot of people are asking questions about winterizing their coops. Yes, there are things that you can do for your hens and or your flock during the time when cold weather is starting to show up. Your nights are getting colder, your days are getting shorter. I'm going to do a series of videos probably in November. I generally do this around Thanksgiving, where I will wrap my pens in a construction grade plastic. And what this does is this acts as a windbreak and also a buffer to the elements. So your chickens don't need heaters, okay? So remember I told you during the molt they're going to grow in their down feathers, so those jackets that we put on when we go outside when the mercury dips below a certain level, they are already wearing their factory installed. So you do not need to add heat to a pen during the winter in order to winterize your flock. The best thing that you can do for your flock is provide them an environment in which where there's no wind, or basically a dry and clean environment. I'll get into the wind here in just a minute. So you need to provide your flock a dry and clean environment. And so a very simple way to do this is to get construction grade plastic, like when they're building houses and they have the plastic that they wrap around the wood to protect it from the elements, that, or you can even use feed bags if you have a small enough coop. And what I do is I literally wrap my coop like a big present with this plastic. And what this does is this creates a buffer for the flock inside. So when you have the winter winds and you have the winter weather, that plastic will keep the bitter winds that would then ruffle up their feathers and they lose their heat at bay, and it would also keep all of the elements, so you got snow, rain, ice, out of the pen. So what this does is this creates an environment that is clean and that is dry. And that is all the chickens really need in order to overwinter. So if you put heaters in your flock, I mean, if you put heaters in your coop for your flock, what happens is they become dependent on this heat. And so if you have it in the coop, they're going to be a little bit hesitant to leave the coop in order to get food and water, because that's a very warm environment. And of course, we can always kind of, we can associate with this. It's winter. You've got all the not the down, but you got the blankets on your bed, and you're nice, snuggly, and warm. The alarm clock goes off. The last thing you want to do is get out of bed, that nice warm bed, into the colder air that is, surrounding your environment. Well, the chickens are the same way. They're not going to want to get out of bed to go downstairs or down in the coop to get food and water. They're going to want to stay where it's warm. And in the process of doing this, they're not getting the nutrition and they're not getting the water that they really need during this time in order to overwinter. So, and then if you have a situation that is very common in the winter, where the power goes out, your chickens, who have been very dependent on a heat source, now find themselves with no heat source. And for us, if we have a winter storm and the power goes out, we generally put on more clothes, drink hot beverages, get underneath warm blankets in order to make the best of the situation, none of which is available for your flock. And I have read, people have contacted me with cases where they have put a heater in their flock, in their coop for their flock. The heat went out for several days and a couple members died. Yes, that is very possible. So chickens do not need heat source. What they need is a clean and dry environment in order to call home during the winter. So this plastic, very cheap. You can get it at like Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply even sells it. So it's not hard to get a hold of. You don't have to contact a construction company to get it. It's very available. And I'm going to be doing a video on that in November, basically demonstrating how I winterize my flock for the coming winter. So we're in Tennessee, so we really don't get cold till about after Thanksgiving. So I usually do it in November, but I will be doing a series of videos and just demonstrating this, showing the supplies that I use, showing how I do it, and then of course expounding a little bit more on the reasons of why and what my methodology is, and caring for my flock for the winter. So anyway, I think I have got I've answered all the questions that I have had from readers. Again, in September, I took some time off because we were busy with traveling and getting ready for school and the family vacations and everything. And then now we have a mess in the backyard plus a broken mower. So yeah, life is happening over here. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for following. Thank you for your support. If you have just found my channel, searching YouTube for chicken related assistance, I want to say hi. I'm Noelle. It's nice to meet you. And for those that have been following me all along, I want to say thank you very much for your support and for allowing me to help you be the best chicken keepers that you can be. And of course, I'll always be updating my blog, so I'll link my blog in the description below so you guys can catch me there, with also my contact information in case you have any questions, or if you need me to explain something a little bit further. I can then get in contact with you and kind of help you and answer your questions. So anyway, I'm sorry for the unusual setting for this environment. I'm usually outside with the girls, so this is usually not not what I do, but I did want to get on here. I did want to jump on here and just kind of say hi, I'm still here, and answer some questions that I was getting multiple questions of in my comments, so that way I could address some of these issues and help you guys as you're going through molting season. So yeah. All right. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later.